While you might find a few things in my videos cringy, that doesn't make picking on the creators of stuff on my shows okay. As tempting as it is to rage at or insult them, it does more harm than good in the end, especially since it can drive people to self-harm and or suicide. Please pick your battles wisely. That means don't harass any of the creators of anything featured in my shows, cause cyberbullying's bad, okay?
Hey guys, what is up? This is Gothcat bringing you another episode of Totally Overrated. To be honest, I am getting kind of sick of this series, so I did remove two stories from the series lineup, those being Dead Bart and Pokemon Lost Silver, because I think they're not so significant in the world of overrated creepypastas, and this episode also signifies where I finally get to touch on Jane the Killer. In fact, this is going to be the first of two Jane the Killer stories that I will read. Today I'm going to be reading the original short story of Jane the Killer with her original image. And since it's so short, I'm also going to give you a surprise bonus crappy pasta. So, before I move on, I am also sorry for not making videos in a while. I have been focusing a lot on my work and my Etsy shop, so I'm probably going to slow down on the videos. So, in any case, without further ado, enjoy the show, guys. On a hot summer night around 4:33 in the morning, as Jeff the Killer took another victim, this time a young wife, and also leaving her husband with a massive skull fracture as a result of blunt force trauma. The only one to survive was the couple's 4-month-old baby that police have discovered crying in its crib. Alongside the child, police have found a letter which was written on the back of a paper grocery bag in a black Sharpie marker, and a Motorola droid faintly illuminated under the baby's blanket. The babysitter, who was locked in the closet during the time, claimed she smelled the lingering odor of women's cheap perfume and found body glitter on the baby's crib. But who was it from? Police were able to decipher the writing on the grocery bag, and here's what it said. Jeff, if you are reading this, I know that no matter how many innocent victims you claim, or how much innocent blood you shed, I'm still coming for you in the end. All of the men and women you so viciously slaughtered and disemboweled, I beat you to it. I killed them not because I hate them. I imagined those victims were you as I took their lives. It was the mere vision of you that made me kill them. I never did like you, you greasy-headed, grinning, smug, ignorant son of a bitch. My black eyes may look like I'm void of vision, but I'm not stupid. Just remember, the night that you creep into a poor girl's bedroom, you're gonna fall head over heels down the fucking stairs with your guts caught in the broken glass of the window that I smashed you into. Tonight, when I reach you, evil will bow evil. Winner kills all. And the only one who will not get out alive is you. I'm coming. Sleep well. Signed, Jane the Killer. On the droid phone, one of the officers found text in all caps and read with Jane's picture. Below is her face, which she captured on the phone. Okay, so before before I read the surprise bonus crappypasta, I'm just gonna do a quick review. I do believe the story fell flat a little bit. Although I do have to, um, I guess the writing is slightly off. First it said the only one to survive was a baby, but then they get testimony from the babysitter. uh, yeah. So it's obviously not the best story. It is definitely very brief and stuff, but well, before reading this, I did believe that Jane the Killer is actually somewhat of an improvement. I also found not that she's not much of an improvement on Jeff the Killer. At least from this version of the story. But I do still believe that her biggest flaw is her connection with Jeff the Killer. If the writing was corrected a little bit and she stood out as her own character, this would definitely be a much better creepypasta, but as it is, it's definitely kind of flat. Now, as for the surprise creepypasta, what I'm gonna read is a story called Cleo the Killer, a Jeff the Killer fangirl. As if we don't have enough of those. So, alright, so here we go. It was a bright and sunny day, and Cleo was walking to school. She had no friends and mostly stayed alone. As she walked into the schoolyard, she entered the building expecting someone to punch her again. Instead, they were all talking about this kid named Jeff, whose brother Lou had gone to jail for a year. I walked to my locker. It was right next to Jeff. When I looked at him, he had longer hair and rolls under his eyes, and he looked really depressed. I didn't say anything. He looked at me, and I looked away shyly. All of a sudden, these kids, Ryan, Adam, and Zach, popped in front of me and pushed me. At this point, I just went bull frickin' Jesus crazy on them. I punched them, kicked them, slapped them, kicked one in the balls. I got detention. Yep. After a few days, I finally talked to Jeff. I said, hi, I'm Cleo. I'm sorry about your bro. It's okay, you didn't do anything. Don't be sorry. Oh, and I'm Jeff. A few days later, Jeff went crazy. He went to the hospital 'cause a kid caught him on fire. He killed his parents and brother after he got out of JDC. After a month, I snapped. Ryan, Adam, and Zach came up and made fun of me, hurt me. So I grabbed my pocket knife and carved one's eyes out, stabbed the other, and ran off and left Ryan there bleeding while the others lay motionless. I cut out my eyes, and my mom came in while I was crying. Sweetie, what are you... Huh? She said cowardly while I was holding two knives up to her. Sweetie, your eyes! I can hear and smell and feel people through the ground and air, I said to her. Sweetie, please, put the knives down and we can sort this out, she said with her voice shaking. No, Mom, go get Dad and we can sell this, I yelled. Alright, sweetie, I will go get him, she said, voice trembling in fear. She ran to the bedroom. I slowly crept up the hall, hearing what my mother was saying. Sweetie, get the gun and call the police, she said as she saw me appear in the doorway. You lied, just like Jeff's parents, I said, grabbing hold of both parents. As my dad shot up, the last thing they heard was, feel the pain like I did. I said goodnight as I drew on the wall. On the wall it says, "Feel the pain," and I smiled and crawled out the window and disappeared into the woods. Yep, this is basically your classic goofy crappy pasta with Jeff the killer, except Jeff is barely in it. Um, yeah. Long before reading the story myself, I did see a YouTuber formerly known as Leaved and Gone, as well as Lady Leaved. I'm not sure what her current username is now, but yeah, she did read the story and said it was nothing special as far as crappy pastas. Although I do agree that this is basically just your classic textbook crappy pasta. Uh, One thing that did stand out barely was that Jeff was barely in the store. It was basically like a plot device. I think I also heard a review from Huda Hoodlum that I believe he said that I believe he was asking how Cleo could have known that Jeff's parents lied unless she was stalking them, which does make a lot of sense. One thing I discerned for myself long before reading this story today, was that let's see, yeah, it's like she removes her eyes and then all of a sudden she has heightened senses, which is not how sense loss works. Basically, if it's just like a few minutes after you lose their sight, they're going to be disoriented, and it typically takes time to sort of reorient themselves after losing a sense and heightening or getting heightened awareness of the other senses. So yeah, so that part's definitely unrealistic. I also don't think she would know what the wall says. I believe she would have tried to write down "feel the pain," but I'm pretty sure if it's that soon after she went blind, it probably would have just come off like a bunch of mysterious lines and stuff. There's the obvious perspective change at the beginning. Like there was one paragraph where it was third person, and then second paragraph on, it's basically first person. Yeah, I do have to agree with Lady Leaved that this is just a bad, basically a crappy pasta by some very young kid who who was a fan of creepypasta. I definitely have to agree with her on that, because the way it is written, the grammar is mostly okay and it's definitely readable, but they're probably they're probably no older than like their, I don't know, maybe early teens. They've got to be like a preteen or early teen writing the story. Who's obviously a Jeff the Killer fangirl. Although one thing I am starting to get is, I think the reason why she wanted her character to remove her eyes is to get that sort of ghostly black eye look, which would have been better if there was a more realistic explanation for this. Because oh my god, oh my god, there's no way this character would have known what she was doing. Like I said, there's no way Cleo would have known what she was doing minutes after she went blind. So Yeah, it's basically like I said, it's basically just your classic silly creepy pasta. Next time on Totally Overrated, I'm gonna go over Jane the Killer: The Real Story, which I believe is the more famous version of Jane the Killer. I guess we'll see how my opinion is swayed after reading this. As for my next video, I think next is My Immortal. I'm not sure. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to check out my Tumblr. This is GothCat signing out. Thank you, and goodbye.